The men's tournament officially tipped off Thursday. The women's NCAA tournament kicks into high gear Friday. 3 North Carolina schools earned the right to host the first 2 rounds of the tournament, with UNC Chapel Hill, NC State, and Duke all playing their first games on their home courts. Spectrum News 1 anchor Caroline Blair is following the women's action right now. She's joining us live from Cameron Indoor Stadium with the latest on the women's NCAA tournament. Caroline, this is really exciting for ACC basketball fans here in North Carolina.
Well, you can certainly say that again, Mike. I mean, this is so exciting. As a former player, a lover of women's college basketball, I can't begin to tell you how thrilled we all are to have so many North Carolina teams playing in the tournament. We're talking about High Point University, my old team, the Lady Spartans of UNCG. But when you look at the triangle, to have 3 teams hosting the first and second round at home, all within 30 minutes, well, that's a dream. While the stands may be empty inside Cameron Indoor Stadium now, pretty soon they'll be packed with players watching the Duke Blue Devils take on the Lehigh Mountain Hawks in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Definitely my parents. They come to a lot of games. And just like classmates, professors, like people usually don't get this experience, to have it here at Duke and, just be like, hey, come to our March Madness game. It's in Cameron. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Veteran Blue Devil players who traveled to Ohio for last year's first round know just how sweet it is to be playing at home. What has the difference been for you preparing for this versus being on the road?
Well, for one, I've been attending every class this week, which is a little different from last year. But honestly, it's really allowed me to just settle in. It's actually calmed my nerves a lot. So, yeah, it's been super helpful.
But the Blue Devils aren't alone. UNC and NC State all have earned home court advantage for the first 2 rounds, something players and coaches aren't taking for granted.
There was a time that this was the best area in the country for women's college basketball, and I think we can get back to that. I think the 3 programs are strong. I think they have really good players. I think they have really good followings, fan followings, and this is a special place.
Fans these coaches and players are relying on to give them energy heading into round 1.
Obviously, being a part of this movement, being able to have, young women watch us play is so incredible, and then maybe they're inspired to play as well. I remember watching my role models play, and then now being able to be that role model for someone else is super cool.
Now, coming off a big win in the ACC tournament to take home the championship, the Blue Devils are hoping to ride that momentum through March into April. Coach Lawson says they certainly celebrated in the moment, but now that they're dancing, everyone is on an even playing field. Now, Duke is expected to take on Lehigh tomorrow around 8 o'clock right here inside Cameron Indoor. But before that, UNC and NC State will both start their own practices at home. They both have games on Saturday.
All right, after a whole lot of anticipation, the women are finally dancing in the NCAA tournament. First round games tipped off today, with 3 North Carolina teams earning the chance to host the first and second rounds this weekend. Spectrum News 1 anchor Caroline Blair has been following all the action right now. She's joining us live from outside Cameron Indoor Stadium for the latest. Caroline, I know folks are stoked, Caroline, and their energy has to be really high there in Durham.
Oh, it certainly is. It is such a fun time. Things are buzzing here on the campus of Duke University, as well as in Raleigh and Chapel Hill. We were there today as both of the teams finally took to the court for their practice. And, after a week of getting to stay at home, go to classes, the Lady Blue Devils are taking to the court in their first game of the NCAA tournament tonight, right here behind me inside Cameron Indoor. And, it is such an exciting time for fans looking to catch some good basketball, but an equally exciting time for the game of women's basketball. Fans poured into Cameron Indoor Stadium in Durham on Friday for the first round of the NCAA tournament. Many donning blue and white didn't have to travel far to catch their ACC tournament champion Duke Blue Devils in action.
Before we came down here, we were up in Dover Air Force Base. We used to come down here for the ACC tournament, so we enjoy it. This is like an annual thing.
Joining Duke and earning the right to host the first 2 rounds of the tournament are UNC and regular season champs NC State.
We have great fans, so it's always great to play in front of them, being at Reynolds Coliseum, and we practice here every day, so I think that'll help us be a lot more comfortable than if we had to travel somewhere else.
The Greater Raleigh Convention and Visitors Bureau estimates the women's games at Reynolds Coliseum alone could generate more than $1 million in local revenue. But it's the women's programs that are, for the first time, also gaining funding for their participation in the games.
It's a great product, and I think our Final Four maybe outdrew the men's Final Four viewership last year. I mean, that's impressive, and so it's an exciting time to be a part of it. I'm happy for our student athletes.
We caught up with ACC Coach of the Year Wes Moore as the Wolfpack hit the court for practice on Friday, hoping for another appearance in the Final Four this year. He, like many other coaches, agrees that granting women's teams the ability to earn financial incentives or units for playing in the tournament is long overdue.
Now they realize the value of women's basketball in advertising and all those areas, marketing. So now, they're being rewarded for that.
Big changes towards equality in the sport and thrilling games being played right here on Tobacco Road.
We haven't lost a game during the season at home thanks to our amazing crowd, and I think they help us a lot with the energy and everything, so we're super lucky to be here.
And that's the thing, these coaches and players have been fighting for equality in the game, really for their entire careers. And viewership in last year's Final Four really proved to a lot of them that it's their time for a piece of the pie. And the Blue Devils will take on Lehigh right here behind me inside Cameron Indoor at 8 o'clock tonight. Then tomorrow, NC State is hoping to stay undefeated. They take on Vanderbilt at 2 o'clock, and that will be followed by UNC Chapel Hill, the Tar Heels. They too are playing at home, and they will be taking on Oregon State at 4:30. Such an exciting time for the game, Mike.
And for you as a former player, a basketball player, college basketball, Caroline.
Love it. Love it, Mike. Yeah, absolutely.
We're all going to be glued to our TVs, our phones, and streaming devices. Caroline, thanks so much.
While the Sweet 16 is rolling on the men's side, the women are now gearing up to take the court today, and 3 North Carolina teams are preparing for the history-making round.
Our Caroline Blair hit the road traveling to Birmingham, Alabama for round 3. She joins us with a preview of the action.
That's right. You can just feel the excitement in the air here in Birmingham, Alabama, surrounding the Sweet 16. After hosting the first 2 rounds and winning, UNC, Duke, and NC State all moved on to the next round of play. NC State getting the long draw, playing LSU all the way out west in Spokane, Washington. But in a rare and frankly history-making move, Duke and UNC are meeting for the very first time ever in an NCAA tournament for women's basketball, and it is taking place right here in Birmingham, Alabama. 8 teams, in fact, are calling Birmingham home this weekend as they fight to make it to the next round of play. And we were there as the Heels and Blue Devils took to the court for practice, working to shake off their travel legs. The teams split in the regular season, each taking a win at home. The Tar Heels victorious at Carmichael, with Alyssa Utsby posting a strong double-double. But with the first team All-ACC player injured on the bench, it was Duke who took round 2 at Cameron. And now, as the close in-state rivals meet hundreds of miles away, both teams say they are ready for their Tobacco Road foe.
We know them really well, but we look back at the games that we played and really focus on the adjustments that we can make to be better in this game coming tomorrow.
We're just so focused, not necessarily on the opponent, but the fact that we have one. And most importantly, they're a talented team. So we understand that we faced them before, we know what we have to do, and now it's just about the details.
Number 2 seed Duke takes on number 3 seed UNC at 2:30. The winner will go on to face the winner of the South Carolina Gamecocks Maryland Terrapins game. That game is then scheduled for 1 o'clock on Sunday. In Texas and Tennessee and Notre Dame and TCU continue the Sweet 16 play here in Birmingham on Saturday. The winners of those games will face off on Monday.
Sweet 16 officially kicked off today with, of all things, a historic matchup between long-standing North Carolina foes. Spectrum News 1 anchor Caroline Blair is down in Birmingham, Alabama for all the action and joins us now with more on the big ACC matchup in the NCAA tournament. So Caroline, what an exciting way to kick off the Sweet 16.
Oh, Well, you are absolutely right about that, Brittany. I think if you were looking for the Madison March, we found it right here in Birmingham, Alabama. The regular season rivalry between Duke and UNC bleeding over into the Sweet 16. This was the team's 111th time meeting in person. However, the very first time ever in NCAA tournament history. Hard to believe. And after each team won their regular season game at home, the Blue Devils came out on top, now heading to the Elite Eight. Final score 47-38. And you know, a whole lot of diehard fans, players, family members from all over came into town to support both Carolina and Duke Blue. Many made the 8.5-hour-long trek from North Carolina to Birmingham to take in all the action and support their team. For some, it's the love of their school and the players that drew them in, while for others, it's their passion for women's basketball. And those wearing both shades of blue said it's an honor to have made it this far.
It is so cool. We're a tight-knit community here as Duke alumni here in Birmingham. As a girl dad, you met my daughter. I think it's important to show up and support the women's team.
Well, I'm just happy that we can be here to enjoy the journey with her. Whatever way we can. Going to the games has been fun. Meeting other parents and players and stuff. It's all been fun.
Alyssa Usby's mom there, certainly a tough end for her to the season after having a stellar career, and certainly a tough end to the season for all the players and fans on the Tar Heel side. Now, the Heels did get off to a hot start, starting the game on an 11-0 run, but that was no match for the Blue Devils defense. Really a low-scoring game all around, but Duke players say they really don't care about that. They are just happy to still be dancing.
It's good that Coach called the timeout. Obviously, they went on their run because UNC is a great team. They're going to go on their runs. So it was good to just collectively, all take a deep breath, come together, kind of get that togetherness, and then in the end, we use that to our advantage to kind of transition into the next quarter.
Now, as we said, the Blue Devils are playing in the Elite Eight. That next game taking place on Sunday at noon Central Time here in Birmingham, Alabama at the Legacy Center here behind me. We're going to be here all weekend long covering all the action.
For more on the game, we send it over to Caroline Blair, who caught up with both teams after the game.
Well, you're right. The Heels and the Blue Devils have faced off many times in the past, 111 now to be exact. But this was the first time the two ACC powerhouses have ever met in the NCAA tournament. Duke, the 2 seed, UNC, the 3, both really playing some great ball heading into the tournament. But in the end, it was the Blue Devils who came out on top in a very low-scoring game, 47-38. Now, donning both Duke and Carolina blue, fans from both near and far poured into Legacy Arena in Birmingham to take in all the action. Many touting their team's defensive dominance and fierce passion to keep dancing. Duke fans and players elated despite the low-scoring game. But it was certainly a tough loss for the Tar Heel faithful.
I was so proud. I know we put in so much work, so it's just really sad that's how it ended because I just know how much work we put in. But, you just reflect, take some time to let it soak in, and then you just got to get back in the gym and keep growing.
Without our bench, I don't think we win games, Every single game, they show up for us. They're always ready. They stay prepared. And just being able to, compete in those type of games and have to, rely on them, it's an amazing thing. I'm just so proud of them, honestly.
And as a former college basketball player, I can tell you it's easy to want to celebrate a big win, especially against such a fierce and familiar opponent. But Coach Carol Lawson and her Lady Blue Devils are staying focused. They're keeping their eye on the prize. They now will take on the South Carolina Gamecocks in the Elite Eight. That game taking place right here inside Legacy Arena on Sunday.
We're continuing to bring you all of the action both on and off the court with our team coverage. We have our Caroline Blair in Birmingham, Alabama. She's been hanging out with fans, excited to see the women play this weekend. Turning now to the other Blue Devils, the Lady Blue Devils prepare to take on last year's reigning national champions, the South Carolina Gamecocks in the Elite Eight. And our Caroline Blair has been following all the action for us down in Alabama. She joins us now from Legacy Arena. Caroline, we had a tough day yesterday for 2 North Carolina teams, but not the Duke Blue Devils.
Oh, you're right about that, Rachel. Not the Duke Blue Devils. The ladies still dancing here in the NCAA tournament. Certainly a tough loss for NC State on Friday night. They took on the 2023 LSU Tigers, national champions of the NCAA tournament. But again, you said it, Duke beating UNC, their Tobacco Road foe. First time the two teams have ever met in NCAA history. Exciting for players and fans alike, but something that both are having to move on from, and that is because Duke now takes on South Carolina, the Gamecocks, on Sunday for a chance at the Final Four. It's certainly going to be a tough matchup for the Blue Devils, possibly their toughest of the year, and fans who came out Saturday to catch the remaining teams vie for a chance at the Elite Eight say they are excited to watch some great ball and agree on the keys to winning the game.
Duke, they're going to have to rebound and get back on fast breaks to control the game. But number 5 for Duke, she's pretty fast herself, so it's going to be a high-intensity game, and I'm excited.
Their defense is going to be the number one thing for Duke because Duke has some great players playing, and they're very adamant at the goal, rebounding and everything. So we're going to have to be on rebounds, offense, as well as defense.
Yeah, such knowledgeable fans, and certainly they couldn't be more excited about the next round of play. Many here trying to catch as much great basketball as they can. And we saw long lines of folks trying to snag T-shirts or basketballs to take a piece of NCAA history home. History Blue Devil players say they are ready to make.
South Carolina is a great team, a phenomenal team on both ends of the floor. So, they're going to challenge us, offensively and defensively. So we're just going to match their energy.
And certainly we will be here taking in all the action in Birmingham and bringing you the very latest as Duke tries to get to the Final Four.
Duke falling short in their pursuit of a national championship. South Carolina taking a 54-50, a season-ending loss for Duke. Our own Caroline Blair now joining us with more from the Blue Devils locker room.
Well, it was a battle of the 1 and 2 seeds here in Alabama as the Lady Blue Devils took on not only last year's national champions, but also what looked and sounded like a home crowd for South Carolina. The two teams played last December, Duke hoping to avenge a loss, but in the end, it was the Gamecocks who squeaked by, ending the Blue Devils' hopes for a Final Four run, what would have been the team's first in nearly 20 years. Emotions were running high as the Duke Blue Devils left the court one final time in Birmingham. The team laying it all out on the line in a hard-fought battle against last year's national champions.
Every loss hurts, especially with this group. We're competitive, we're passionate, we want it for one another.
The Gamecocks started on a 10-2 run in what looked like the making of a blowout. But standout freshman Toby Fournier pushed the team through the first half, keeping it close and eventually helping Duke take the lead in what would be a close back-and-forth game.
We know the team that we are, and we knew that we were going to have a run eventually against South Carolina.
Fournier led all scorers with 18 points, but it wasn't enough. A foul leading to a pair of free throws with 5 seconds to go in the game, ending Duke's chance at the Final Four.
Especially when you get to at this point in the tournament, the teams, everyone wants it so bad. You're so close to, having that title. So I feel like everyone's extra aggressive. And then also playing against these teams as well that are already very physical.
Led by two coaches who were themselves some of the best to play the game, Dawn Staley and Carol Lawson building these teams from the ground up. Lawson says she's proud of what her team has accomplished.
I just honestly, throughout the whole game, I just had a great sense of pride. Winning the ACC for the first time since 2013, getting to the Elite Eight for the first time since 2013. Just a lot of things that this group was able to do that our program hadn't done in a long time.
Pride in this team's accomplishments in a season that for many defied the odds.
It's hard sometimes to look at things holistically just with how the game ended today, but we've done amazing things this year, truly. So I agree with her 100% of how proud I am of us, of these girls, and what we've been able to do this year.
A young team taking in the heartbreaking loss, but already looking to the future.
The games that we have under our belt will continue to show proof that we, are experienced and, we can go further next year.
Now, because this was such a close game, many Duke players tell me that it does sting a little bit more, but Coach Lawson is keeping her head up, making good on her promise that she would make the Lady Blue Devils relevant once again, and she certainly is doing that. In Birmingham, Alabama, I'm Caroline Blair for Spectrum News 1.